YouTube was good. It's your boy, Apollos Harris, aka the Medusa. Hey, if this is your first time tuning in, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell every time I post up new content. Sitting up here now, uh, well, I'm rewatching, Dane Calloway. And for those of y'all that actually really haven't heard of the brother or watched any of his material, I highly suggest that you go check out that young brother. He talks about a lot of good, interesting stuff. Some of the stuff I already knew, some of the stuff I didn't know, right? But in which, for the most part, talking about him actually really leads me up to the topic of tonight's show, right? I got on there Democrats, Bloods, in parentheses. No, Democrats, Crips, in parentheses. Then I got doggone the Republican Bloods. So you got blue pill, red pill. What did they say in the Matrix? Right? If you take the blue pill, right, you go home and nothing else happens, right? But if you take the red pill, I'll show you how far the rabbit hole goes, right? And then it's just for the simple fact, right? And I actually really went back and I did, some research. How many of y'all actually really know? I mean, now, great the fact I already knew about this act before this young brother actually really came out and said anything about it, right? But how many of y'all out there actually really know anything about the 1965 Civil Rights Voting Act? How many of y'all actually really know what that is? Or is this the first time you actually really heard of it, right? Now, that was in 1965, right? To allow the so-called black person, Negro, African American to actually really go to register to vote, right? But now here's where I actually really find this rather interesting. And this is the main reason why I titled this show the way that I did, right? The Democrats, they got the color blue, just like the Crips, right? But guess what year the Crips were established, right? Now, if it's a lie, then Google told it, right? So the Voting Act happened in 1965. The Crips were established in 1969, right? And they wear the color blue, right? The Bloods, on the other hand, were established in 1972, right? Out there in California. Who was governor? So put like this, you gotta really stop and think about it for a minute. Ronald Reagan was president, but he was also an actor, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor, but he was also an actor. His main character that he's known for was the goddamn Terminator, right? So I know what y'all probably sitting up here and think, okay, well, what the fuck this got to do with anything? Well, it has a lot to do with everything because the colors, the colors are there, people. If you haven't caught on to this, right? We already know how crooked this government is. Regardless of who's in office now and whether or not he actually stays in office, or the next person that's actually going to come in and be in office. It really doesn't matter now because Like what I've been saying for the past couple of days, right? All these motherfuckers are criminal. It's still two flavors of shit, one scented and one unscented, right? But what I'm actually really trying to get at is this, right? You get put like this, you at home or whatever, right? And for the most part, the neighborhood is always nice. But then you get a group of people coming. Let's just say for shits and giggles that these are the Crips that came in, represent one of the colors of the motherfucking one of two political parties, right? So they come in, they run roughshod, they harass you, or whatever. But then again, they'll say some shit like this. We'll let you stay here, but just know every once in a while you're gonna have to pay for the protection. And then if you don't have to really pay for that protection, then consequences may not be in your favor, right? So again, now don't that sound familiar? That almost sound almost as familiar as when we, as the Aborigines, the original people of this land, what is now called North America. Doesn't that don't that sound simpler, right? We over here minding our business. Here they come, right? Fight breaks out, and they'll be like, you know what? We're gonna take you, and then we're gonna put you over there. Reservation, same shit, right? And so again, you can do that. You see, if you can use that same analogy with the Bloods, not knowing that these two actually really come together and form this, right? And if you actually really look at that on a bigger level, United States government, they want you to vote. And they always want to sit up and say, well, the people of this country needs government. They need law and order, they need this, they need that, they need the other. Right? But then again, you gotta ask yourself, okay, well, that may be the case. But who are you to actually really be qualified to what it is that we need? We was doing perfectly fine before you come in here fucking up shit. That's what you have to. That's what y'all actually really have to look at, right? I tell everybody to not go out and vote because it's just for the simple fact that the vote really ain't gonna count worth a damn, right? I mean, because here's the deal: technology is a motherfucker, and I know I said this plenty of times, right? So you go up to the voting booth, right? Everything is electronic. And it's just like I say, you might can sit up there and you gonna do one or two things, right? You gonna either hit the button for Trump and Pence, or you gonna hit the button for motherfucking Biden and Harris. And yeah, you can physically see what the fuck you did, right? But does that actually really mean that that's where the fuck that vote gonna go? I mean, let's be reasonable here. It's just like, I was talking to a couple of my friends today, right? They happy because they voted. And then the motherfucker talk about, well, I felt like I had to exercise my right to go vote. Well, let me tell you something, people. Anytime when you got to put some shit down on paper, right? In order for you to vote, then that right there should be more than enough, right? Just like say, you think that much of me, or you think that less of me? That you got to be able to put this shit down on paper. And then what's so bad about it? This shit expires. But hey, just like I said, now it could be a lot of people out there that you know that'll watch this show and they'll probably say, "Well, damn, you know what? I never heard of that. I never heard of the 1965 Civil Rights Voting Act, right? Or I never realized that my vote didn't count worth a damn." It's just like what I told y'all earlier, or a couple of shows ago, right? They want to sit up here and say, "Well, hey, look, we need somebody to push our product." So they go out and find the most popular person out there to push my product, right? Just to see what the fuck the rest of y'all are gonna do. This shit works, it works every motherfucking 4 years. And y'all haven't caught on yet. You know? Listen, ain't no problem going out, vote to have your voice be heard, right? But at the same time, right? You could be talking and it may sound like some shit like this, right? I mean, yeah, you yelling. Yeah, you yelling. See how they do this? And this is how you actually really would talk with a motherfucking mask on, right? But the thing about it though, it's funny, it's funny how you look at how they do things now, right? That with the coronavirus, everybody got to wear their mask. That ain't nothing more than another symbol of actually really telling you shut the fuck up, right? But just know this: you've been like this the whole time, way before the goddamn coronavirus even came into existence. And it's just for the simple fact when you can't talk about nothing that you can't see, i.e. Bird Box. How many of y'all went to go watch that movie? Right? And then how many of y'all actually really watched the show that I did on that movie? Because a lot of y'all went to the movie. Yeah, a lot of y'all went to the movie to go see the movie Bird Box, just like this. You had the blindfold on the whole goddamn time. Right? It's no different than the goddamn coronavirus, people. Right? They want to shut you up, right? Just to go along because feel like it, but damn, because you know what they're saying. They're like, these motherfuckers already can't see what we ain't doing, but they steady talking. Maybe because you might hear something that you ain't supposed to hear, right? But just because you got that blindfold on, you really can't make the shit out, right? And now when I say blindfold, right, y'all know you get the picture what I'm talking about. You was blind before you even went into the movie. And you probably became and your eyesight probably got a hell of a lot worse once that movie was over with. Same thing with the motherfucking coronavirus. They put it over your mouth and your nose, right? 9 times out of 10, they probably figure like, okay, well, look, too many people out there too busy listening to certain individuals, right? So they come up with this bullshit virus. They're there for them, and then one or two things, right? You either gonna put the mask on or you gonna keep your ass in the house so they can keep track of you. And then now they know where you stay. Then here they come with the little voting pamphlet. You fill it out, and then you check off who the fuck you want in office. Which again, who's to say that whoever that you vote for, whether it's for Trump or whether it's for doggone Biden, right? By the time it actually really get back to where it need to get back at, and for the folk to actually really count it, right? It ain't gonna mean worth a damn. Just like I say, Democrats, Republicans, Bloods, Crips, right? Both of them gangbangers. Both of them will take your money. Both of them will promise you a whole bunch of shit, and then you don't get nothing in return. But they want you to go vote though, right? Offer some shit that they actually really had to, somebody signed the shit. So again, how that work? I'm a human being just like you. I bet you didn't have to sign no goddamn paperwork to go vote. You just get your ass up and go vote. So for the simple fact that even took place way back in 1965, that should tell you something right there and there. They only want to be bothered with you or y'all, and yes, I'm saying y'all, because I'm not gonna go vote. I already know how the motherfucking song go. So, but like I say, when you look at it, when you really stop and look at it, right? It's in the put like this. Those two colors, blue and red, are all across the board. It's like that with the Bloods and the Crips. It's like that with professional sports. East and West, NBA basketball. One is blue, one is red. NFL football, the two conferences, right? National and American. One is blue, one is red. See where I'm going with this? Y'all see where I'm going with this, right? But again, y'all ain't caught on yet. But y'all woke though. Y'all woke though. I got it. You're sleepwalking, if anything. Or for the most part, you know what? I ain't gonna say that you woke. I'm not even gonna say that you sleepwalking. Let's just say that your motherfucking ass is drowsy. But you drowsy just long enough to kill your ass to the voting booth, thinking that your goddamn vote gonna count, knowing damn well that it ain't. So it's just like what a lot of people say, like what my man Zachary Hubbard says, and for the most part, like what we say over in the divine, what we say over in the Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research, right? We'll sit up here and say, hey, look, it happens too many times for it to be a coincidence, right? Sometimes you guys really got to look at that shit as just straight facts, right? Just like with the sun, right? Sun puts out 9 rays, right? It's 9, you have 9 systems in the human body, it's 9 major climates in the world today, and there's 9 numbers. See how many times that word, see how many times the number 9 came up and all that? It happens too many times for it to be God doggone coincidence. Just like with the colors blue and red, that shit happens too many times for it to actually really be a goddamn coincidence. And just like I said, anytime when you actually really got to put some shit down on paper, so I can go vote, or for y'all to go vote, if it had to be put like this, if it had to be put on a piece of paper, then goddamn it, it still don't count, as far as I'm concerned. But that's how y'all have to. That's how y'all have to look at things. Really stop and pay attention what these motherfuckers trying to tell y'all. And once you actually really figure that shit out, then yeah, you'll be like me. Come election day, you ain't going to the booth, But there's no reason. I'm going to watch the election just to see how many of y'all actually really voted. And you know what? And if Biden gets in there, okay, I got it. But guess what? You forget he a Democrat. He a Crip, right? He ain't even do shit for you. And let's not get this shit twisted. Trump ain't gonna do that neither, right? But so you know, like I said, I say all that to say this much. Start paying attention to what the fuck is going on every aspect of life. I don't give a fuck what it is. Learn to start paying attention. Once you actually really start doing that, then shit will go a hell of a lot smoothly for you than what it's ever been. So with that being said, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell Big Dan, tell Big Bertha, tell your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your pawpaw, motherfucker next door, across the street, around the corner. Hollis Harris, aka the Medusa. Do not go vote come election day. Till next time.